This is where my Attainable Collection of Envy 100 gets a little weird for some of you, and you're probably going to disagree, and that's okay. Hey, it's Mike. Thanks for tuning back in. So last week I did number 100 in my list, and to get an understanding of what this list is about, it's not the 100 greatest cards of all time. It is the cards that when I see them, I think, I gotta have that card. Some of them are really cheap, like this one here today. Some of them are very expensive. I call it attainable. You have to be able to obtain one of these cards for under $5,000, which is a lot. I've never spent anywhere near that amount, but there are some at the top end of this that are pretty expensive. I had to do a cutoff somewhere. To read more about this list, it's in my newsletter, junkwaxhero.com, which is free to sign up for. And I'll also, for this newsletter, this week, I'll be putting this in, all the details of this card, number 99, and I'll be putting it out tomorrow morning. So make sure you're signed up, and I'll have a poll in there asking what you think about this card. Last week's Pee Wee Reese, I keep wanting to say Pokey Reese still, Pee Wee Reese. A lot of people, I don't remember the percentage, I'll put it up here on the screen, but it was a majority of people felt it was a top 100 card of all time. That's not going to be the case with this one, and that's okay. So this one is the 1989 Hoops David Robinson, the first series card. David Robinson was drafted by the Spurs in 1987, but he wasn't a rookie until 1989 because he had 2 years that he had to serve in the Navy before he could get in there. And his nickname is the Admiral. He was a midshipman in the Navy, and that's where it's better to call somebody the Admiral than the midshipman. It's a weird nickname, I think. So the Admiral made more sense. It fits. It's a great nickname. Now, a little understanding of why I've chosen this card. David Robinson, first of all, is a legend. He's one of the all-time greats. He was in the top 50 NBA players of all time. He is, let me just go through some of his stats here. First of all, the Spurs improved by 35 games in his rookie year. They made it to the second round of the playoffs. He was a unanimous Rookie of the Year, 10-time All-Star, All-NBA First Team 4 times, All-NBA Defense First Team, All-Defense First Team 4 times, Defensive Player of the Year once, MVP once, 2 championships on the Spurs, played for the same team the whole time. But honestly, I didn't go into this saying, I've got to have a David Robinson card. I don't have a Tim Duncan card on my list. Little spoiler alert. What I was looking for were iconic cards of GOATs in most part. In most part. And this card, to understand why this card hits my list, you have to understand what the state of basketball cards at that time. Remember, other than Star in the mid-'80s, there were no... We're going to get into an argument here. There were no pack-pulled cards from 81 to 86. And then Fleer in 1986 was wildly unpopular. They could not sell entire boxes for $10 in 1986, 87. When the 87 Fleer set came out, they produced far fewer cards for that set. And then 88 was similarly not as popular, a little bit more popular than 86 and 87 maybe, but there wasn't a chase card at all. And then 1989 happened. David Robinson was in his rookie year. 89 Fleer didn't have David Robinson in it for some reason, even though there are photos of him with his jersey from 87. The photo on the 87 Hoops card is David Robinson holding up his jersey on draft night, or at the press conference probably, when he was drafted in 1987. And this is in the 87 Hoops Series 1. And this was huge because he was big, a little like Victor Wembanyama, where he was amazing right off the bat. Unanimous Rookie of the Year, like I said, just had an amazing rookie year. He was older because he had 2 years in the Navy. He was huge, he was jacked, and people wanted his card. There had not been a rookie in his rookie year with cards since Calvin Murphy and Pete Maravich in 1970-71 on a rookie card. That's staggering. As baseball fans, that's shocking to hear that. So this card was wildly popular, and NBA Hoops put out a huge marketing campaign around it. Tons of money into this campaign, and people started chasing. People wanted this. Remember, 1989 Upper Deck baseball, the Ken Griffey Jr. craze, those packs came out at $1 a pack, and that was insane. These ones rose up to, the NBA Hoops 89 rose up to $2 a pack. I found an old article in the newspaper that showed they were up to $2 a pack. So people went out searching for David Robinson cards, and they were buying packs, and then they started realizing that you could see through the front of the pack who was in the pack on the front. And I show you here one with David Robinson writ on the front, but even if it wasn't David Robinson, if you knew the collation of the set, you could see who was on the front and then know if David Robinson was in there. Now, I was 10 in 1989, and I remember chasing this card. I remember buying packs like crazy, or having people buy them for me, but I don't think I knew about the collation and being able to see through the packs. I don't remember that anyway. I wasn't that smart about cards. It was just like see pack, buy pack, open pack was basically my philosophy. This was hotter than any basketball card, including Michael Jordan at the time, and this popularity actually trickled down into the vintage basketball market, which was needed, which was really good for the vintage basketball market. And a lot of people believe it's one of the most important basketball cards of all time because it was this kind of a springboard to the popularity of basketball cards in the 90s and what brought basketball cards to the forefront and what we now know as the golden era of basketball inserts, which was the 1990s. Now, Hoops released a second series of 52 cards, I think, including this in-action David Robinson later on, Series 2. And so that made this card, the original from Series 1, a short print because they had to remove 52 cards from the sheet to print the 52 or 53 in Series 2, and this was one that they removed. So it's a bit of a short print. It's very common, don't get me wrong, but compared to others in the set, it is a short print. Of this card, 12,000 have been graded by PSA. Only about 864 are 10s, so 7% of them are 10s. A PSA 9, if you want a graded card, goes for $25 to $30. Very, very affordable. A 10 goes for between $300 and $400. So there's quite a disparity there, partially because 10s are a little bit more difficult to come by. Now, for me, I'm perfectly happy to keep this card raw. I don't think I would ever send it in. First of all, it wouldn't be a 10, but there's no need for this card. You can get this card for $1 or $2, $3, I don't know. And this is not one that I would need to have graded. Even of all my 100 cards, I don't see the need. Would you get this one graded? Would you get it a 10? If you want it graded, would you get it a 9, which is $25 or $30? Let me know in comments. Also, the pack. You can get this pack with David Robinson see through the pack in a PSA 8 confirmed pack, authenticated, graded, for about $70, which is a pretty cool artifact of the era. I think it's pretty cool. I love this card. It's one of my all-time favorites. If I see it, every time I see it, I think, oh, yes, I love it. I've given them away. I've given one away on this channel before. I don't remember who I gave it to, but hopefully they're still watching. Make sure you're subscribed to my newsletter, junkboxhero.com. I also have some pretty big news coming out today or tomorrow, which I'm really excited about. And I will also put that in my newsletter tomorrow if it's out later on today. So I appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you have a great Thursday.